Now then, it's late autumn and it's maintenance time, and the Countax mower has been bugging me for a while. If you remember back in home life, I don't know what number it is, I was having trouble with the magnetic deck clutch dropping out. Well, that sort of developed, but I finally found it, and it's such a simple thing, but it took a long time to actually find the root cause. I'll probably talk about that in another video. And what we're doing at the moment is maintaining the brush sweeper that, if you don't know, the Countax has a driven sweeper behind it that picks the grass up and flicks it into a collector. But before we start that, I'd just like to say just a few words. This is the life that we're leading, and I think it's important for each and every one of us not to load up the environment with unnecessary pollution and strain. And to that extent, we should seek interests that are not solely about consumerism and in trying to impress other people with the things that we do or we possess. It's just that whether or not you believe there is an afterlife or there is a reincarnation, this is the life we're leading now, and make the most of it without being greedy. Yeah. One can explore the limits of one's eccentricities as long as we don't impact on other things. Yeah. Some communities are very uptight and will not countenance a movement away from the normal behaviour, whereas other communities are accepting of people's foibles and viewpoints as long as they don't interfere with the running of the community itself. Yeah, I mean, do your own thing, but don't go about doing stuff that will deliberately upset people. Anyway, that's enough of that. There's just a few current affairs that have happened, and it just sort of, this is the life we're leading, make the most of it. Yeah, without intruding on others. So there you go. Anyway, enough of that. This sweeper, I took it apart a few days ago because I'd got hold of the right brushes. Yeah, and it was evident to me, although I'd had one of these apart maybe 6-7 years ago, I'd totally forgotten how it went together or came apart. So this video is a help to other people, but also a reminder to myself. Next time I need to take this apart, which I actually sort of suspect it would be a good idea to have it apart once a year before you put the mower away. And I do actually have the deck off the mower once a year, scrape down the underside, check out the bearings, and I put grease nipples on those bearings so that then I can grease them up. But also I clean the underside of the deck and paint it once a year. It's a half an hour job, it's an hour job, but those mower decks are renowned for rotting out. Well, you just need layers and layers and layers of paint to stop that happening. And also a behavioural thing, in so much as you don't try and crop the grass after it's just had a monsoon. Anyway, let's have a look at this now, because we'll just get into the finer details. So there are these holders, mountings, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, and they slide on here on this box section. And as you can see, here they all are, and they're all offset. And these brushes just slot in there like that. And it's the next one that goes there that holds it in. If you put these on the wrong way round, sometimes it's difficult to get these totally off, but if you put it on the other way round, the offset will be wrong and the brushes could work their way out. So you've got to have it on the right way round. So if you can see, let me just see if I can zoom in on this. I'm not quite sure. Oh yes, there you go. You see, this one is locked in by that little bit there, so it won't come out. But you put that on the other way round, and this is round here a bit more. Sometimes you have to get a block of wood and tap these. You wouldn't hammer straight on there, you'd have a block of wood and knock them off. And they can be a bit tight, but clean the shaft up, this box section, and oil it before you put all these back on. So these go in like that, you see, and the end ones are held in by plastic clamps that go around there. And how those went together I'd forgotten all about. So that was a sort of, how do we do this? So we're going to cover that now. So one end of this is just on a bearing like this. And that shaft there is a replaceable item. You can actually buy that little bit shaft. Now this bearing, when I had this off, I unbolted it. It was tight. So I very gently lifted out the rubber seal, put some oil in there, worked it round, washed it out and re-greased it. And as you can see, it's fine now. So that's good. Now then, we have this block here. And I think it goes round that way. There you go. Yeah, and there's another piece somewhere. So there's the other piece. Goes there. Somehow. Is it that way or is it that way? No, it's that way to line the holes up. Okay, so that shaft goes in that hole. Let's just remove it. That shaft goes in that hole. It all goes in there. That one goes on and a bolt goes through there. And here's the bolt. And of course the secret here is to wire brush this off really well and grease it all before you put it back together. That way in a year's time it will come apart. Yep. So it's quite simple really when you remember. The question is remembering. So there's the drive end. That's the drive pulley there. That's the idler in the middle. And this is the pulley that actually drives the brushes. And that has a short shaft which, when we move the camera, this is the other side, you can see that it's a short shaft with a hole in it. And then coming round here, this side, you can see there, that's where that bearing housing that I was showing you fits. Yep. So I'm just going to put that back together. It's reasonably simple but a little bit fiddly. You've got to take your time. So here's that shaft. and it doesn't seem too bad, the bearing, but I'm just going to pop a bit of grease around everything. And then there's a sort of dust or muck cap just here, so again we'll put some grease on that and pop that over. That just keeps the majority of the filth from getting to that bearing. Right, let's turn this round. Where are we? Here we are. Now we put that so you don't drop it for a start, so that the hole is offset, so it wants to be on the outside, and that clips into there. And then let's just turn it round, and the hole is there, and we just pop that together, and then put the other side on and put the bolt through, making sure everything lines up. It certainly seems to. Right, I shall just get on with that. Here we are, there's all the brushes in place, and as we come round, there's the belt drive with the jockey wheel or the tensioner. You have to get a spanner the other side and on this side and undo that bolt, and the whole thing slides, as you can see with that slot. And then coming over here, we have the belt from the top of the pulley in there. Can we see that? We can't, but it's from the top, and it comes round to this pulley here, that way round. So it comes from the top of the pulley on the sweeper to what is effectively the right hand side of the pulley, and then the left hand side goes underneath that little stay there, or slider, and it's just coming on to rain. But the main thing here is that these come this way, so it rotates clockwise. So if you get things that so that it rotates anti-clockwise, you've got one of the belts wrong. And there's only one, which is the drive belt from the machine to the sweeper. I'll just start it up, and it's going to be a bit noisy. From the belt end, it's running clockwise, so it flicks the grass up and into the collector. It might look differently on the camera. So hopefully those people who have been searching for repairs of Countax sweepers will have found that interesting and informative. Everyone else, I hope you found it at least slightly entertaining. When I was editing the video, it did look like the brushes were running the wrong way, but they were actually from the front, from the top, coming towards the camera, even though it didn't look like it. Please subscribe and click the like button, and loads of comments please. I always find that sort of interesting and entertaining, and we will catch up with you soon. Cheers for now.